Hi there, it's me again. Today we're gonna go over with the second part of the review. Write each as a verbal expression, and the first one, 11, is n minus 10. How do we say this one here? The simplest one is that what? A number minus 10. Please do not use the numerical number 10. Just you can use the word. Is there any way we can say this one? Come on, Devin.
10 is less than a number.
10 less than a number. Very good. William, tell me, for the number 12. The quotient
The quotient of 2 in the number.
of a number and dos. 2. Okay? Very simple, okay? Moving on. Alright, solve each equation for the indicated variable. So we're solving for x here. Solving literal equation. Remember, this same thing as solving equation, except that you don't see much numbers. They're more formulas. You can't combine them by, because they're not like terms. So there's nothing different in solving literal equation to solving equation. How do we solve for the x? The x is right here. What's the operation between x and c? It's multiplication. So what's the opposite of multiplication? We divide by c and c. Why c? Because the c will cancel out here. C divided by c is 1. So x is by itself now here. So what's left is r minus d over c. And that's what you're solving for. And that's the answer. Kaboom. Here, 14, solve for the x. If we're solving for x, the x is right here. How is the m, x, and y being together in this side of the equation? They're being added here. So what's the opposite? We're going to subtract. Subtract the m, subtract the m. Subtract the y, subtract the y. Cancel this one, cancel this one. What's left right here? Just x. And that's what you're trying to solve. So subtract subtract y and m from z, and that's what you get. Kaboom. Easy. Now we go to absolute value. Remember, absolute value talks about distance. That's why for the most part there are two answers. And if it's an absolute value equals a negative number, it's going to be no solution. Absolute value equals 0, there's only one answer. If it's an absolute value, it's already isolated, and there's a positive number on the other side of the equation, then there will be two answers. You split them in two, one is positive, one is negative, okay? Not this is the one that you miss when you're absent, okay? All right, so what are you gonna do here? Is the absolute value by itself here? Yes. Equals to a positive, so there will be two answers. Are you done? Okay, good. So 7 plus n is equal to 10. 7 plus n is equal to negative 10. Okay? So here, just basic solving for equation, for a linear equation. So subtract 7. N here is equal to 3. Minus 7 minus 7. N is equal to negative 17. Kaboom. Is the absolute value here by itself? Yes. So now split them into two. I know some of you are eager to multiply by 7. Not yet. Split them into two first. Okay? A over 7, that's an ugly 7, equals 1. And a over 7 is equal to negative 1. Multiply them all by 7 now. 7. So therefore this cross out. So a here is equal to, you have to multiply this by 7 to 7. And 7 also here. This cross out. A is equal to negative 7. Okay? Alright, here. Okay. Now, do the same thing. Just split them into two. Negative 3 minus 10v equals 13. And the other one is negative 3 minus 10v is equal to negative 13. Negative 13. Let's move this one. Negative 13. And then we work it out by adding 3, adding 3. Negative 10v is equal to 16. Divide by negative 10, negative 10. Cross it out. So v is equal to negative 16 over 10. But better way to say it, they're both divisible by 2. So negative 8 over 5 is the answer. Or you can say negative 1.6. Right here on the other side, you add 3 again, add 3. That gives you negative 10v is equal to negative 10. And you know that v is equal to 1 there. In this case, for number 18, we don't split them yet. Because the absolute value is not by itself. I see a negative 9 there, right? So you need to divide it first by negative 9. A lot of times kids will ask me, why you divide? Why you did not add? Because the operation between negative 9 and the absolute value is multiplication. The opposite operation for multiplication is you divide. You cross it out, and that will happen, becomes 1. So you keep the absolute value of negative 7n equals, this will be 7. And now is the time for you to split them into 2, and that will give you negative 7 equals 7, negative 7n equals negative 7. You divide everything by negative 7, n is equal to negative 1, and n here is equal to positive 1. Kaboom. Simple, right? Next. Alright, here we go. For this case, is the absolute value by itself here? No, I see a negative 1 there. What's the operation between the green and the red? It's being subtracted. So what's the opposite of subtraction? You add 1, that gives you absolute value of 1 plus 2x is equal to 19. If you notice, student, that I kept the absolute value, I did not split them right away. But since now the absolute value is sign is isolated, I can split them into 2. 1 plus 2x is equal to 19. 1 plus 2x is equal to negative 19. Minus 1, 2x equal to 18. Divided by 2, x equal to 9. Is that right, Cynthia? 9. I'll say 9 in Spanish. Right? See, I was right. Minus 1, 2x equal to negative 20. Divided by 2, x equal negative 10. Right? There you go. Negative 10. Alright, next for number 20. Here, do we divide or do we subtract first? Or we add? The absolute value is right here. We have to get rid of the negative 10. We have to get rid of the 7. Which one do we do first? You can do either way. Okay, let's pause for a while, okay?
Please excuse the interruption.
I'll see you in the third video. Bye.